Are your employees showing up late, quitting suddenly, or just not invested? That's not bad luck. That's a fixable problem. And after building 12 award-winning restaurants with hundreds of employees, I've learned the red flags, the green flags, and what really keeps staff motivated and loyal. So if you want to build a crew that actually wants to stay, follow these 6 tips to hire the right people and keep them engaged long-term. Step 1. Hire the right people.
I know, Mike. I should hire the right people. Kind of obvious.
It's not obvious. And what I mean is don't hire out of desperation. Our hiring systems must start with clarity of who we actually want to work for us. And before we go out into the marketplace looking for people to work for us, we have to be able to answer the question, why should anyone work for you? What do we stand for? Why is this place worth working for? And if you can't easily and obviously answer that question, then we got to fix that first. Once you know what you stand for and the obvious reasons of why someone should work here, then we can go out and seek those people. And who are we seeking? Those who are coachable, those who want to work, and those who have the attitude towards working. I will take that over experience any day of the week. Skills can be taught. If someone's teachable and has the, all right, game on energy, we can figure out, okay, here's how you chop basil. I don't know, Mike. I mean, this guy already knew how to chop basil. I think he's a prime candidate. No, the other stuff can be trained. Mindset can't be. So we have to use value-based interviewing. Ask behavior-based questions. Make your core values part of this. If respect and ownership of your day is a big thing that you stand for, then we have to ask about that. i.e., how have you owned your task structure in previous employment? If you're like, I just did whatever someone told me to do, I don't know. Not a great answer, right? If you really want them to be ownership of the day. You could say, hey, what is some time in the past where you took it upon yourself to create the task and get it accomplished on your own? That's a value-based question, and it's open-ended. If they give you a good response, you'll know you have someone who is inclined to match your values. And there's gonna be people who you don't really get. Like, I don't know, maybe they're BSing me, maybe it's legit. This is a great time to have other people from your staff, whether it's managers, leads, or even just other employees, a part of the hiring process, because they're gonna get a vibe that you might be missing. Don't underestimate the acumen of your staff's intuition, even the ones who aren't on salary. And when those employees are part of the decision-making process, they feel that much more ownership and alignment for this new hire who comes on board. And it also helps this potential new hire see the company culture before they commit. And if they see, oh, we got a bunch of people in the mix who care about whether or not I'm on the team, that's a green flag to the employee that this place might be the place I should be at. Now we got to look for our red flags too. If you're interviewing and they're blaming everyone, that's a red flag. Yeah, I was gonna be, GM of the place, but they just weren't feeling my vibe. That's a red flag. Maybe they're telling the truth, probably not. If they're only asking about the money, that should come up, but if that's the only thing they're focused on, red flag. If you go into your missions, your values, and everything you stand for, and they're like, oh yeah, that's cool. If they're not into it, well, then they're telling you through their actions, through their attitude, they're not here for you. This is just a place they stop by to apply. Other green flags are curiosity, punctuality, and then anything that you see them take initiative for. Hiring is not blind guesswork. It's filtering for culture fit and for long-term potential. Step 2, train the right way. You go back 15 years, training most likely was, hey, there you go, kid. Figure it out, sink or swim. Don't do that, because you're gonna throw them into a situation where they can't succeed. And why do it this way? Because you're lazy. The only reason someone would do this is out of pure laziness, to not create a holistic training program path to success. Have a clear, structured, minimum 5-day training with a very clear onboarding process. In that onboarding, cover company culture, everything they're gonna need to know about where to go and when, all the safety policies, all the legal stuff, and their job duties. Write it all down and create it into a checklist that happens on day 1, because day 1 should be all about culture and onboarding. These new hires should know what doing the job right looks like day 1. And in that day 1 orientation, it should include your story. How did we get here? Why does it matter? The standards of this entity and how they can win being on your team. We have to get into why that matters, how their role is integral, and then give them more roles, i.e. cross-training, cross Training, so damn important, and it's never been more important. When the server knows how to be a host, they are cooler to the hosts. When the server knows how to bar back, they're that much tighter with the bar. When the kitchen crew knows how to do dish, they ain't gonna be a jerk to the dish machine washer. If the dish guy can jump in and make a salad, huzzah! Now we're in business, now we're flowing. When the kitchen crew can host, that division between back of house and front of house dissipates very quickly because now they have an understanding and respect for what these other people are going through. This increases their value and makes them more flexible and decreases attrition because people have aligned goals. Cross-training protects your business and builds people. Because I'll tell you something that's an absolute fact. People don't leave great teams. They leave chaos. They leave disrespect. They leave when their manager just kind of doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't care. That's the #1 reason people bounce. Bad management. And bad management is synonymous with bad leadership. So how are you leading people to be better today than they were yesterday and to be stoked about it and have the privilege to keep growing under you? And by the way, trust me, your restaurant is unique, but your problems are not. I've helped hundreds of restaurants with this same exact problem. I have seen it because it's extremely common. I've helped owners around the world decrease their turnover doing these methods and increase their profit. And you can see some of their stories right here. Step 3. Communicate like a leader. Retraining your current employees is much easier than hiring new ones and starting from scratch. And getting this retraining done properly is going to be steeped in how you communicate with them. Poor communication is a profit leak, and great communication absolutely leads to retention. So we have to make it crystal clear what keeps someone in your good graces and what gets someone fired. Your team should know what winning looks like and what does not fly here. You could use role scorecards or you could just eval them. But when you do that, it's got to be done quarterly without fail. And quarterly evals are a fantastic opportunity to go over their wins, the company's wins, and what could be better and what they think they want to be doing in the future inside this business. This gives a proper functional channel for feedback, not just being passive aggressive on the line. Now they get an opportunity to say what's going wrong. And if you see they're not being completely open, then it's because they don't feel safe to be completely open. So how do we establish that? Because when we say, hey, say whatever you got on your mind right now so we can talk about it, and they do it, you get the vitriol, the anger, the apprehension, the little nugget in their head that says, maybe I shouldn't be here, out of their head, on the table, and then you could sort it out and do something with it and potentially save this employee who has just one little thing that's annoying them from potentially quitting. And you might be surprised and you're like, that's the thing you don't like? Yep, that's easy, fixed. I've seen that happen multiple times, and it happens with a finite, properly structured evaluation. And if you're not the one doing the eval, then you have to have a function where they can write down whatever they want and hit send, and it goes to you as the owner, because your staff, your managers, and you are not mind readers. Next, you got to create clarity in their role along with your expectation of that role. A lot of turnover comes abound because of confusion. Of course they know what to do. I already trained them to do it. Do they? It doesn't hurt to reiterate it. Inside our establishments, we have an organizational chart. They know exactly who they're supposed to go to, who their direct leader is, and if they need to go around them for whatever reason, how to do that, how to go through the chain of command. Additionally, we use a whiteboard on the walk-in wall that says, here's what needs to be cleaned, here's what needs to be prepped, here's who's doing it, and then a check off when it's done. Clarity and being obvious are words that I much enjoy when it comes to operations. Clear expectations leads to confident employees, and confident employees stick around much longer. So praise in public and scold in private. And when you scold, it shouldn't even be scolding. It should be, hey, this isn't right. Let's get you to where right is. Tell me what's going wrong. And always everything we do when we speak to not only our employees and even the customer is to their benefit. To pull this off effectively, you gotta listen more than you talk. I'm saying listen with intention. Don't listen planning the next thing you're gonna say. I want you to listen, letting everything they have to say wash over you. No matter how much it frustrates you, no matter how much you disagree, being on the defensive is not gonna help you. It's gonna really hurt you, actually. So I want you to imagine when someone who's on your team has a lot to say, that they're sending you a volleyball, and you're gonna see that volleyball coming and just volley it back. I had the worst day. I don't really like being here some days. Tell me more. As opposed to, you had a bad day, volleyball on the ground. Don't do that. Volley it back. Okay, well tell me what's going on. Why do you feel that way? Well, I had to show up early and then I didn't know about the catering order. Okay, and what do you think we could have done better? Volley back. When you do the volley, you get progress. When you slap the ball or don't even address the ball is still in play. So volley it back until the ball's out of play. And now you have good discourse that reduces attrition and lets that staff member know that you're in it with them. And that's how you stay in the game. Huh? See what I did? Step 4, build a positive culture. Obviously, right? Is it? Not always obvious. Culture is what happens when you're not there, and you need to build it with intention, not just happenstance. Lead by example. Owners should embody the perspective and mindset that they want from their staff. That's professionalism, that's respect, and that's having a positive attitude. Because if you got a negative one, they ain't gonna have one because of you. And if you're stressed or being really short in your reactions, you can expect that in return. Your team mirrors what you do. If you're not around, how can you showcase this? By having the values that you stand for obvious to staff and showcasing what you do care about, i.e. the community support that you give. If you value the community and doing certain good deeds, then make it known what you stand for to your staff. If you have staff that cares about, let's say, feeding orphans like you do, and that's a big charitable thing that you do that you don't advertise, then that's going to carry on into their morality and their exuberance for this job because they match your values and you have values. You stand for something. So let's keep working here. If you've ever looked at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a lot of staff are entering the workforce at the peak of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is self-actualization. They want to do something grander in the world, and they want to do it with their business, i.e. you. So if you're not self-actualizing at this high level, if you're just trying to get by, they might go somewhere else where there is more to life going on. And I'm telling you this from experience because I would have never thought that that was part of the gig. But the good things that we've done have translated into having a very low attrition. Do good things? Good things happen. So make your mission visible. Talk about it on the pre-shift. Make it something that they have buy-in on. Because if this job sucks and there's no moral reason to stay, they are gone. Your restaurant doesn't need to be Disneyland, but it does need to be a place where good things get noticed. So inject daily energy. Go for dumb fun. Lead in on inside jokes. Celebrate their wins. Seek to do outings for your crew. Professional redevelopment or just we're going to the lake. Because again, people will leave for a lack of recognition from leadership. I learned this through doing after years of dealing with hundreds of other employees. And you can watch everything I've learned over 21 years in this video right here. Step 5, invest in growth and ownership. Stop making their bed. Imagine your staff just kind of does the job and then you jump in to do it for them. That makes you look like the 55-year-old mom who still makes her 30-year-old son's bed. Don't do that. And I get it. It's your baby. If this restaurant doesn't work out, I might lose everything. It's natural, but you're not helping them and you're sure as hell not helping you. Instead, let go, delegate. To that which is not done properly, teach or reteach. But don't give up and don't be lazy and do their job for them. Holding on to every task out of your ego will lead to burnout. Your burnout and your staff's burnout. You are not running a perfect streamlined ship. You're gonna have some bumpy waters.
Iceberg, right ahead! Thank you.
And that's okay, because that makes you a better sailor. Give your team members a path to growth, even in just small incremental ones, and then watch them do it. And make this a priority for you and your leadership team. Their growth should involve promotions. It should also involve having more responsibility. Make it obvious to the staff, hey, this person did the right stuff, so they're moving up. Never accept people dogging on someone's growth, because that will be mediocrity seeking to pull down excellence, and it will destroy a good restaurant very quickly, and you cannot accept it. Build your bench, promo up, and keep letting good build onto good. Make it known. This is what winning looks like, not just arbitrary, okay, maybe here's a raise because you've been here 6 months. No, you've learned this, therefore you get X. And you can also incentivize their growth by saying, hey, when you hit food costs or when you excel on the floor to get this much incremental revenue, then you get this other thing. When their growth is tied to your growth, then you should be a part of their growth and give them a cut of it. That will make them a member of the team in a new way where it's, well, because we won, as opposed to because we won, I won. And that means when we fail, they fail, i.e. we didn't hit food costs. You're not getting your pop. give people goals and then the tools to achieve those goals, and then they will, on your terms, making your restaurant that much more profitable, i.e. healthy. Goal-driven structures with pops of pay leads to a better attrition rate, i.e. people quit less, and that's what you need. And while we're talking growth, if you're looking to grow or expand or think out what next concept you should be doing, then make sure you subscribe, because my next video is going to be on the 3 most profitable restaurants to start in 2025. You're not going to want to miss it. Step 6, work-life balance in scheduling. This is probably not your entry-level person's career. So if you're not respecting their schedule and thinking that they're going to work 70 hours a week for entry-level pay just because you do, that is a fallacy and it's going to burn you. You have to create balance to create balanced individuals who work for you, who appreciate the job and want to keep working. So respecting their request off for a Sunday to go see their kids' recital is not you being soft. That's you being empathetic, compassionate, and aware of life. Because when you respect their out of work life, they're that much more likely to be all in on their in work life. When people apply to work for our restaurants today, they're interviewing us. Is this place gonna be cool? Are they gonna be a pain in the ass? Or am I gonna be made to feel like an endless drudgery of having to do this person's bidding? If that's what it feels like, they're gone. Distribute good shifts and bad shifts fairly. If you do it just based on a whim, like, I like hanging with that guy after the shift, that's not, and you're going to play favorites, and those favorites are going to burn you just as much as the people that are not favorited are gonna burn you. And again, when requests off are done appropriately 2 weeks in advance, and you put the schedule out at least a week in advance, now staff knows what's going on, they feel safe, secure, and a reduction of quitting occurs. If you're putting up the schedule the day before the shift and it's, hey, get your shift covered or else it's your job, they will abide by you and find another job. Also, be mindful of overworking staff. Ensure your staff gets adequate breaks. Ensure that they're not going out at some insane time to be done with working, and understand that they have lives outside of this restaurant and you want them to have the best life outside of this restaurant because of this restaurant. When you do that, they will respect you and this job and your business in return. In closing, having a high turnover rate is not just frustrating, it is expensive. And I've learned that the hard way by dealing with every staff issue imaginable. And that's why I created the Unsliced Restaurant System, so you don't have to figure all that out. And if you're serious about building a restaurant that grows, that's sustainable, that's strong, all the tools to do it are inside the Unsliced Restaurant System. And it will help you change your current position immediately. And if that's for you, click the link in the description to book your free restaurant review call, where we will deep dive on what you got going and see if we're a fit. Good luck with your staff, and I'll see you on the next video.